It's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, the happy entrepreneur, and welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the number one business development and revenue focused late night show in the country where we're on a mission. And our really mission is to inspire, our mission is to empower, and our mission is to provide you, the entrepreneur, with all of the resources that are necessary to execute that huge vision that's deep, deep, deep inside of you. And today we have the one and only Kashonna Marrow, who's in the building, talking about you can have a successful business, you can have a successful life, you can be a successful leader, and you can have a successful company. She's all about success. What's going on, Kashonna? Welcome back to the Happy Entrepreneur Show. It's good to have you back again.
I love it, Shay. I am so excited about being here with you again. Thank you so much for having me. Excited about engaging with your listeners today and giving them some information to help them be successful. That's what it's all about, right?
But yes, that's what it's all about. And you have this notion, which is kind of interesting, that someone can have a successful business
Yes.
and a successful life. So let's talk to that group of individuals. And then later I want to get to talking about what you're doing in the corporate nonprofit space. But we got a lot of folks who are dualpreneurs, by the way. They work a full-time job. They're a full-time entrepreneur. And you're saying, no, you can be a wife. No, you can be a husband. No, you can be a community leader. No, you can be in your organization. No, you can run a business. I mean, you say you can do all this stuff and live a balanced life. What's the biggest challenge people have doing that today? I'll ask that question. Why can't they do it now?
Well, one of the things that I think is important to note is balance is kind of off the table. I think we have to really understand how to live in harmony, understanding the season of your life, understanding that there are different times of your life where one thing is going to play louder than the other. What do I need to give more attention to in this season of my life than the other? When you understand that, then everything flows how it's supposed to flow. So I'm not necessarily promoting balance, saying that everything is equal all of the time, more than I am harmony, understanding the season that you're in and making sure that you give everything that you have to whatever you're focused on in that particular season.
Now, you can't leave us hanging here. You said balance and harmony. And you said it two different ways, which was cool. So can you slow down and give us, what is your definition of harmony? Like, what does that even mean anymore? And then number two, what's your definition of balance so we can all be right on the same page and we can be reading from your script?
I think that is an excellent question. Oftentimes, when we think of balance, we think of something weighing the same. It has equal value, equal weight. It's all happening at the same time. But my method of to my madness, if you will, is to understand that not all things can be equal at the same time. There are some things that are going to weigh at one time in your life greater than another time in your life. So when I say harmony, I'm talking about recognizing the season that you're in. So for instance, I got married a little over a year ago. Woohoo!
She's still on
And one
honeymoon
of the
phase, ladies
things,
and gentlemen. You see the big smile on her face. The honeymoon never ends.
it never ends. It never ends. And one of the things that I realized in that particular season of my life is that I needed to pour, and I'm still pouring, don't get me wrong, but needed to pour into my marriage for at least the first 3 to 6 months. Like I needed to make sure that that was the priority in my life. Now, one of the wonderful things about me getting married in this stage of my business is my husband understanding that I am an entrepreneur, that he understood that there were going to be sometimes some late nights and early mornings. So we had to have that discussion. But again, being a newlywed, I had to understand that I needed to pour a lot of time, a lot of focus into my marriage, being again a newlywed. Now, here's where the shift happens. Again, my husband understanding who I was and what he was getting himself into, there came a time where I needed to shift my focus. Again, we had a conversation. Family meetings are important, especially if you are a parent. I have three amazing children. And when I started this business 10 years ago, we had family meetings often. I would say, listen, this is what mommy is focused on right now. I need you to understand that I'm still mommy and I'm still present. I won't be at every game. I won't be at every dance recital, but I want you to know that I'm cheering you on. I just need to put my focus here right now so that we can have a better tomorrow. When we had that conversation, my children understood and they were doing everything they needed to do to support me. They had buy in because there was a conversation. Same thing with my husband. He has buy in because we have consistent conversations. So he doesn't feel like he's pushed to the side or I'm not paying any attention to him. He knows what's going on because of the constant communication that we have going on. That's harmony.
Now you talk about successful, and I'm just curious before we get into it, doing a deep dive, what does success look like for you for where you are right now in your life? And when you say a successful business, is that
Yes.
because I brought in a ton of cash? Yeah, is it because of the good I'm doing in the world?
Mm,
I'm curious, and I think it's a fair and reasonable question, two-part
mhm.
question. What does success look like for you personally? Because we like to know what does it look like for you for where you are. And number two, what's like for a business from your view of the world?
I love that you're asking me that question because success is so different for other people. I have goals, right? I have a vision and then I have goals to obtain that vision. And for me, success looks like making sure that I actually am achieving those goals. So I don't put any undue or unnecessary pressure on myself to achieve anyone else's goals except mine. Because as you stated, what is my definition of success? So when I look at success, it's making sure that I have a vision and I'm achieving the goals in order to obtain that vision. That's what success looks like for me. Am I healthy? Am I whole physically, emotionally, spiritually? What am I doing to make sure that I'm solid, that I'm grounded? Am I kind to people? All of those things are what I equate to success. Also, a lot of self work. That's to me success. I am very self aware. I'm self aware when I'm happy, just as much as when I'm sad. When I'm not in my best or at 100%, just as much as when I'm 50%. So I believe that all of those things really contribute to my success.
I love it. I love it. Thanks so much for sharing. Thanks for breaking that
Yeah.
down for us, by the way.
Yeah.
Success. She has it all together. Don't y'all love this? And there's another component that you work with entrepreneurs. And I would like for you to share for the person that's just starting off, because you not
Mm,
only do coaching, you do consulting, you work with organizations, which I want to get to. You work with corporate America, you work with nonprofits. But I just have
yes.
one more question on this other side for that entrepreneur that's out there. It's like, wow, I can live my dreams. I
Mm,
don't have to give it up. I can have it all. If they're looking to work with, let's say, someone like your organization, or
yes.
bring on a consultant or a partner to help them on this journey, what's one, two, or three things they should look for
Mhm.
that can help them so they can get to their goals faster with less
Mm.
stress?
That's an excellent question as well. One of the things I would say, Shay, is you have to make sure, number one, that you have goals. When I'm working with someone, they come with these dreams, and I believe that that's amazing. It's wonderful to have dreams. It's wonderful to have vision that's bigger than you. But what are the goals? Like, how are you planning to get there? Here's another thing. You gotta write it down because if you don't write it down, it does not exist. Very important to understand. Another thing that I would strongly recommend entrepreneurs to understand is you will evolve. Just because your dream looked one way when you first started does not mean it's going to look the same way years from now. So, what happens when you come to that wall? Will you climb it? Will you run through it? What will you do to make sure that you accomplish your goals and your dreams? Now, it's one thing to be passionate about something, it's another thing to be called to something. You got to know the difference. Passion is an emotion, it only lasts temporarily. But when you are called to something, you stay in it through thick and thin. You stay in it when people don't understand, when people are talking about you, when people are saying that your dream doesn't work. That's a call. You are called to it and you refuse to let go of it until you see it manifest. So if you are an entrepreneur and you're looking to see what should I do? Like, am I really going to do this or will this really work? Well, your resiliency will determine if you're really called to it.
Wow. I like that. Are you called to it, or you just got some passion today right now?
Yes.
So well said. There's some folks that believe that they were called to be leaders. There are some folks
Mm,
that believe that leaders are made and leaders are born. I'm not going to ask you that crazy question, but what I will ask you the question is that when you're working with corporate America, and this is a slight little shift here, but when you're working with corporate America and they're trying to get, or it could be a nonprofit, could be a government agency, and they're trying to get the most out of their team, which are, I guess, sub
mm,
leaders. What are maybe one, two, or three leadership qualities that you share to
mm.
help them move a team? And you, the entrepreneur, you can benefit as well because your team might be virtual,
Yes.
right? And you still have to be able to build this team cohesion with folks that are together. So, question: what do you share with
Oh,
leaders who are leading others? I'll say that, and some of the best practices.
well, one of the things that I see a lot of is that people are accepting leadership positions and they are not um, developed themselves. And what I mean by that is they're accepting positions because of the title, because of the pay, because of the grade, if you're working in the federal government. And the problem with that is they don't like people. So I would say if you're going to be or pursue or aspire to leadership, you've got to like people. That's number one. Number two, accept the fact that you must change. Change is inevitable. If you are not changing, you are not growing. If you are not growing, you become ineffective. And when you become ineffective, you become irrelevant. Be sure to maintain your relevancy through your development, both personal and professional. Number three, leaders, yes, they are born. Yes, they are made, but they all are also developed. I recently heard a speaker say this and I held on to it with dear life because those were words that were so powerful to me. She said this: it is time out for leaders being overexposed and underdeveloped. That changed everything to me because I realized that yes, I am the subject matter expert. Yes, I am the business owner. Yes, I facilitate, I train, I consult, I speak, I do all of these things. But here's one of the things I have made up in my mind: I do not want to be underdeveloped, but overexposed. If you are going to be a leader, you must make sure you make it your responsibility to not do leadership, but to become leadership. And that takes growth and development in every area of your life.
You said not do leadership, become leadership. Can you unpack that and give us one more layer to that? Ladies and gentlemen, you might want to lean
Mhm.
forward right now because not only is she in relax mode, but she's in a little bit of teaching mode, by the way. And we all can benefit because you got to be a leader of one before you're a leader of many, right? So let's
Yes.
all lean in. I'm
Yes.
all leaned in. So can you unpack that last part? I was like, oh, don't leave us hanging.
Hmm.
I'm right there.
Hmm.
I'm right there.
No, because I think that so many times, again, we're looking at doing leadership. One of the things that I have the wonderful opportunity to do are these personality or behavior assessments. And one of my favorite is the DISC assessment. And one of the things I tell them is this: before I administer this assessment, I say, I want you to operate or I want you to answer these questions in your natural state. Now, natural state and adaptive state are two different things. Your natural state is who you are authentically, whereas your adaptive state is who you turn on to be. It's like, you go to work and all of a sudden you're this different person and people from your personal life have no idea who you are because you talk different, you look different. It's like, who is this person? And this is the thing, code switching has gotten a very bad rep, Shay. But here's what I tell people: code switching is not bad. It's really not, because you're not changing who you are, you're understanding where you are. So when I talk about becoming the leader, not just doing leadership, I'm talking about not just operating in your adaptive space. I'm talking about operating in your natural space, in who you are, the essence of who you are. Where is your emotional intelligence? How do you communicate? How do you handle difficult people? What are you willing to do to make sure that you understand how to even lead leaders? You got to be sure that you lead yourself before you can lead anyone else.
says so well, and they're listening to you saying, Shay, she has it all together. She has this thing wired. Check this out, Shay. Check it out. Check it out. She knows how to get balance. Cool. She knows how to get harmony. Check mark. She got the husband. Well, I'm not gonna say in check, by the way, because but she's checking in with him on a regular basis. She said, "Come on, somebody, I got the ring. I did something right." Holla at your girl. They may be wondering as they're listening, and you're working with corporate America. You seem to be doing what you love. I know you opened up a new location, which we'll talk about in Pennsylvania. I think it's York, Pennsylvania.
Yay.
They might be
Yes.
wondering, where in her life, Shay, has she ever had a challenge, a setback? Things didn't go the way she wanted to. And what is the lesson that she learned that she can share with us so that we all can benefit? And of course, we had no problems. And Shay, no problems. Next, please. If you have, we would love to know because you seem so passionate. So we're curious.
Oh my goodness. I wish I could tell you that that this was a smooth journey. But unfortunately, I cannot tell you that. But I will tell you this. The places where there were rough places is when I became the strongest. It's when I learned resilience. You can't be resilient if you don't have anything to bounce back from, right? I went through a divorce. I was married 14 years and I loved my husband and my ex-husband at that time, and just really thought that things were going to go uphill from there, but that just didn't happen. So from the divorce, I lost some things. I lost my house. It was just so many things that happened all at once, and I had to pull it all together. But I realized that I was falling apart. And so what I had to do was I had to employ two people. I had to employ a coach and I had to employ a therapist. These are two people that you should not be doing business without. If I could give you three C's, it would be a coach, a counselor, and a consultant. If you have those three people on your staff, you will be fine. So I had to make sure that I brought those people in my life because remember, leaders make sure that they are leading themselves. They have to make sure that they are whole. They have to make sure that they are honest with themselves, self aware. And you cannot be self aware if you don't have someone speaking into those places that are not so amazing. And while everyone hypes you up on social media and tells you how amazing you are, if you are finding yourself in a place that's dark and that no one else can understand, then you got to make sure that you reach out for help. One quote that I learned going through my hard place during that time, I was reading a blog and it said this, and I wish I could tell you who said it, but it said this: givers must create boundaries because takers seldom do. When I read that, it was like a light bulb came on because I realized how much I was giving and how much people were taking without me creating boundaries. And those boundaries are so very important because those boundaries not only keep you safe, but they give you wisdom, they give you knowledge, they give you understanding. They help you to know when and when not to, even when you can. So, yes, those places that I've gone through, I wish I could say that again. I didn't go through anything and everything was smooth sailing, but I had some places of pain and some places of hurt and some places of misunderstanding and misinterpretation. But guess what? I learned from those spaces. And because of that, I am who I am. And I'm so proud of her. I'm so proud of her.
I'm so proud of you too, by the way. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you're sharing and you're so open and you're so transparent. What do you do for fun when you're not out saving the world, by the way? You aren't making folks be
Yes.
more successful, have better businesses, better leaders, better organizations. What do you do, Kashonna, for fun?
Well, I'm somewhat of an extroverted introvert. So I love
There she go with
people. I
the
love
in
being
and
around
out. I'm a
people.
little of this and a little of that. Don't you know she said,
A
I'm a
little of this
little
and
bit
a
of this,
little of
but I'm
that.
a little bit of that. You got to put it all together, Shay.
I bring it in. Let me tell you because I love people. I love being out with people, but it can also be very draining. I give everything I have when I'm out, and when I'm done, I'm in and I'm just resting. Because I truly believe that rest builds capacity. Rest builds capacity. That means that when I am rested, I can take on more. When I am rested, I can deal better with a problem or a solution. I can think better. And so, with that being said, I enjoy rest. I also enjoy doing fun things like I love adventure. So I've been skydiving and ziplining and hot air ballooning and all of those wonderful things, and looking forward
you you
to
you
doing
you
some
can't just
vacation.
drop it on us out there. You got to tell us maybe where and was it scary? I mean, you can't just say, "Well, I went skydiving. Well, I just did this, and I got the Holy Ghost, got excited, saying jump." I mean, I'm curious. Were you even afraid? I mean, were you nervous? I mean, I'm just curious, especially skydiving.
You know what? Honestly, I was not. And here's why. Because when I went skydiving, it was parallel to the time that I was getting ready to jump into my business. And so I was so ready. I was like, this represents me getting ready to jump and do this thing. And I was all pumped up and hyped up. And if I tell you that story, you'll be like, oh. So I'm not going to scare those of you who want to skydive because my
I'm
story is a
one of them,
little
by the way.
different.
I'm
Just
I'm one of them. I'm scared to skydive. I don't want my wife cashing in my insurance policy yet. So I'm a little afraid, but it's okay. It's okay. I'm gonna get over this thing. I know it.
well, here's the thing. I came out on the other side of it. So that's what you need to know. I am victorious. It's all good. It worked. It worked out.
You've had so many mentors. I like to ask two questions that are like my favorite because I'm always curious. I always want to learn. I want to be able to pass wisdom on. I think this show, the Happy Entrepreneur Show, we want to be like the modern day Think and Grow Rich. Folks like you are here and you're able to share these words of
Yes.
wisdom that we'll leave on for future generations. So I'm curious of all the mentors you've had, and you've had so many mentors on this journey of life, I'm
Ooh,
sure. What's one of the mentors and one of the lessons you learned from that mentor? They passed it to you, you were able to benefit, and now you get a chance to pass it on to us.
goodness gracious. Yeah, I've had so many mentors, and
Yeah.
I'm just trying to, there is no one thing. There's a conglomerate of
Mhm.
wisdom that I have been imparted into me. So it's really hard to pinpoint one thing. Um, and again, so many coaches and so many people that I've just looked up to, and they have just poured into me. I would say that one thing that I learned at the beginning of my journey of just business period is to always handle people gracefully. Make sure that you know it's a very small world. And if you treat people right, right will come back to you, regardless of what you see, regardless of how you feel. Treat people well. And that's something that I believe every mentor has been the baseline, if you will, for every mentor or coach that has poured into me. It's like, Kashonna, just treat people right. Make sure that you're kind, because it's going to come back. And when you do, trust me, it's the blessing, the biggest blessing that could ever happen in your life. And it has definitely happened. I've received things a hundredfold because I've been kind to people.
I love it. We have a segment here at the Happy Entrepreneur Show called Today is My January 1st. And for family that are
Woo.
regularly here Monday through Friday, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or follows on YouTube at I am Shay Brown. Today is my January 1st. You can say that now because you waited all day to say it. So congratulations to you. And for those other folks that are new, welcome. We're glad to have you to the family. Today is my January 1st represents a do-over. It's a personal mantra, the Happy Entrepreneur Show.
Mm,
It represents a fresh start. It really means that your past, no matter what the past is, it no
yeah.
longer equals the future. And you don't have to wait till December 31st on the back of a napkin at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As long as you have oxygen in your lungs and you're alive,
Yes.
today is your January 1st. So Happy New Year. My question
Happy New
over to
Year.
Kashonna is, when you hear those words, today is my January 1st, what do you hear? And what are your words to empower and inspire folks who are listening and watching now?
I love that, first of all. But here's the thing, every day I wake up is my January 1st. Every day I breathe, life is my January 1st. Every day that I have the opportunity to engage and do the things that I want to do, the things that I was created to do, is my January 1st. So don't wait for a date. Understand that if you woke up this morning, it is, yeah, your January 1st, and you can go for it and do everything that you're called to do, one by one, little by little, puzzle piece by puzzle piece, make the vision come to pass. And guess what? Sometimes you're going to have those days where you just don't feel it. And that's okay too. make a decision to rest just as you make a decision to go out and do it. When you do that, everything comes together little by little,
I
day by
love it.
day.
How can peaks, two-part question. Number one, thanks for sharing that, by the way. What type of
Yes.
clients is your firm looking to bring on today? And number two, how can folks best connect with you?
hmm So, my client that I'm looking to bring on today, I believe that was the first question. Am I right about that, Shay?
Yes. What type of clients are you looking for?
Okay.
If your firm is bringing on any clients, I don't even know. You might not have capacity.
Listen, you have to know that. You have to know that about yourself, right? So my client that I'm looking to bring on today is a client that is a decision maker in the corporate space. And when I say corporate space, I'm extending that space everywhere from private to public and nonprofit spaces. If you have employees, if you have leaders, and you understand that there is a gap in communication, and you want to make sure that you have healthy workplace relationships, then I'm the person that you need to speak with. Here's what you want to do. You want to go to leadersmoveforward.com. That's right, leadersmoveforward.com. There you will find all of our contact information. You'll also find sessions, training sessions that we facilitate. You'll find some executive leadership coaching information, and anything else that you're looking for to, again, make sure that the culture of your workplace is a healthy workplace culture, and to make sure that your leaders are equipped to lead and your employees are equipped to follow.
I love it. Thank you so much, by the way, for being on the Happy Entrepreneur Show. We certainly appreciate it. You're amazing,
Yes.
incredible, and making a huge difference in the world.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. One day at a time, one person at a time. That is my call, and that is what I'm determined to do. So thank you again so much for having me, Shay.
You're welcome. Keep doing it because you certainly inspire me. With that being said, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. You certainly can go over to YouTube and you can find us at I am Che Brown. You can find the episodes there as well as on-demand streaming platforms. I want you to know as we leave out here that you're amazing. You really are. I like to say that often, but it's so true. You're already awesome. And for you, today is your January 1st. And because of that, your best is still yet to come. Your best is yet to come. Your best is still yet to come. With that being said, my name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. And I promise you from the bottom of my heart, we'll make some good things happen. We connect again next time. Remember this, time is long. Life, on the other hand, well, it's very, very short. So you got to live in that moment and you got to make it count. God bless me. Wish you success. Thanks a lot, Kashonna. Peace. Talk to you
You.
later. We out. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.